Should Anthony Joshua be pleased with his performance against Francis Ngannou? What does that victory mean? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to On Me Edson. I hope you're well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So, Anthony Joshua, an emphatic demolition job over Francis Ngannou last Friday. But what does this mean for AJ in terms of his standing in the boxing world? Does it really make a big statement? Like lots of people are saying, this makes a huge statement for Anthony Joshua. What a knockout it was. What an amazing victory it was. And it was all those things, and so many plaudits to Anthony Joshua and the team. There's always a team behind anybody, any fighter, any sports person, of course. But what I'm talking about here is the expectation that Anthony Joshua was supposed to beat Francis Ngannou, and he did. He delivered in spades. But realistically, can we measure Anthony Joshua's performance against Ngannou against the top heavyweights in the world? Can we say, well, AJ is sitting right at the top of the tree now. He'll walk right through Tyson Fury. He'll have a much better go against Usyk. I believe he would. But that's just a personal opinion. I can't really back that up with facts right now. I can't really back that up with certainty right now, because all I've got to go on is that he beat somebody who he expected to beat. He beat him convincingly, and he showed that his levels against a novice boxer, well, it was evident to see. So for me, I can't go back to Ngannou. I've got to go back to the Wallin fight. Yes, an amazing display. But if I go back to the Helenius fight, the Franklin fight, I still find AJ uncertain of a game plan, uncertain what he should be doing and when he should be aggressive and when he should be defensive. But at the same time, I'm looking at those performances and I'm thinking, this is a fight. This is a boxer, not a fighter. But this is a boxer who is learning strategy, adapting tactics, learning round after round, making adjustments. So we go from those two fights, then they team up with Ben Davison and his team, and then we go into the Wallin fight, and that was a pretty much a demolition job as well, wasn't it? Then we take it another step further and we go into the Ngannou fight, and then you see the huge disparity between the two. My point is here, there's been a fantastic year for Anthony Joshua, 4 great victories on this comeback trail, if you want to call it that. But ever since the Helenius fight, where he's teamed up with Ben Davison, now we're starting to see real decisive action from Anthony Joshua. But not only in terms of his punching power and the way he's delivering his shots, but also his movement, his tactical awareness, the way he's adapting, the way he's defensive, but also offensive as well. This is what I'm seeing with Anthony Joshua. But if I had to say, hand on my heart now, if we put him, forget about Fury and Usyk, let's say if we put him against Daniel Dubois, Martin Bakole, Joseph Parker right now, the ones that you would say, well, are sitting beneath the top tier, but they're almost there or thereabouts. And I put Martin Bakole in there because there's a well-known fact that not many people want to fight him. He's a bit of a lump. So where does he sit with those guys? Well, I personally feel that he would beat those guys quite convincingly. But then I kind of look at stylistically, well, Wilder, if you bring Wilder back into the mix, well, he was terrible against Joseph Parker. But could he have a few problems against Wilder? Possibly so. But I still think AJ goes through Wilder easily. Who I don't think he'll go through easily is Zhilei Zhang. Whilst Zhilei Zhang did lose against Joseph Parker on the same bid as Anthony Joshua against Francis Ngannou, of course, I still believe that Zhilei Zhang I don't know what his game plan was, but he could have easily taken out Joseph Parker if he just pressed on with his initial game plan. He could have had him out there with 2 or 3 rounds because it was an easy find. But he just took his foot off the gas. Joseph Parker came back. 2 knockdowns he had in that fight, but he came back and he clawed back the rounds and he won. Yeah, he won on points, and well done to Joseph Parker for never giving up. But I think AJ against Zhilei Zhang, that's an interesting matchup as well. But it's hard to judge AJ's performance against Francis Ngannou in terms of his standing with the rest of the top heavyweights. I've got a feeling This is just a feeling that he sits right at the top of the tree. He is right there with Fury and Usyk. I believe that he goes through Fury right now. A Fury who doesn't prepare properly, who doesn't respect AJ. I think it'd be a much tougher challenge if he comes in totally prepared and he does totally respect AJ. But I just don't think that fight's going to happen. I think it's much more likely that we're getting AJ Usyk part 3. That's my gut feeling. I believe that AJ's performances, this building up, this improvement, this newer version, this much better version of AJ that we've seen in such a long time, is a much, much better bet against Usyk, who's also getting older and also has shown to have some frailties, especially against Dubois. I thought he had some frailties there, but again, he's just showed his class. And maybe this is why we saw the reaction that we did of AJ after the Ngannou fight. And I mentioned it in a previous video that he was very stoic, didn't really celebrate at all. And he was very much, walking around, I'm the man. But it was almost like, well, what do you expect? You know, this is what was going to happen. It's almost like he was treating the event with a bit of disdain. It's almost like, hey, you put Ngannou in the ring with me. This is what happens. This is what happens when you take the piss out of boxing, right? And I've got to say, I'm not sure this is exactly what's happened, and I'm not sure. I certainly wouldn't say that's what AJ is thinking, but this is just like a little impression here. But I kind of have that feeling. I've called Ngannou a chance. I've called him, a novice. I've called him, a very basic, not a great boxer at all. I've called him all those things, not because I'm dismissive of Ngannou at all. I'm just saying it as I see it, because I just don't think he's very good at boxing. Everybody got carried away with Ngannou this and Ngannou that. But you analyse it, he wasn't that great, and he showed up against AJ, and of course, we had the result that we did. And maybe this is why AJ reacting the way he did. He said, look, this fight, and hey, I've been saying this the whole time, right? This fight proves nothing. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for my standing within the rest of the heavyweight boxing division. It doesn't help me in that. It helps me in terms of recent boxing experience, getting in the ring, 4 wins on the trot now, highly impressive. People are talking about you. Your name's right at the top of the tree. Everybody's talking how great Joshua is. But what it doesn't do is give anybody else a clear indication of how good is AJ compared to all the other top heavyweights right now. My gut feeling, because I'm a bit of an AJ fan, but I'm a Fury fan as well in terms of Usyk as well. I'm a huge Usyk fan. But I think he sits within them. I don't necessarily think he's better right now. I think he sits within them. He's definitely in the conversation. He's at the top table. And right now, that's all we can say about Anthony Joshua, I believe. We can definitely go with our hearts and our emotions and say, yeah, he'll beat everybody. Of course we can. But what I'm saying is, factually, statistically, data-wise, I don't think we've got enough there. I don't think we've got enough there to say AJ beats them all. What I would like to see is AJ against Hrgović now. Because when Usyk fights Tyson Fury, unless something happens that shouldn't happen, the IBF bout is going to have to be vacated. I believe that. I've been saying this for months. That's going to be vacated. I believe those two should go for it. They should fight for that bout. And then hopefully AJ beats Hrgović. He becomes 3-time world champion. Mission accomplished. And also he goes into negotiations for another fight against Usyk, against Fury, whichever it is, but he's also a world champion and he's bringing something to the table. If we have to rely on somebody like Tyson Fury giving AJ an opportunity to fight for an undisputed, I just don't think it's going to happen. The shenanigans that Tyson Fury, does and the things, I just don't think it would happen. The only thing that would make that fight happen if Saudi Arabia just put all the money down and say to Tyson Fury especially, you've got to fight AJ. That's the only way it works. Now, bearing in mind, we've got to consider whether the boxing commissions, whether they will allow that to happen in terms for it as an official undisputed bout, of course. But this is the way I would see it going. AJ has got to fight Hrgović. He's got to bring not credibility, but let's say data, boxing data to the top table. I think he's already at the top table, but I think he just needs to bring that world title, the IBF world title, to the top table, and then either fights Usyk or he fights Fury, whoever it is. I don't really care. I obviously want to see him against Fury, but I think equally I would want to see him against Usyk in a part 3 as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But should AJ be joyful in his triumph against Francis Ngannou? Of course he should be, but his focus should be on the next fight and regaining a world title, becoming a 3-time world title holder, and then getting for an undisputed. Whether it's against Usyk, whether it's against Fury, doesn't really matter. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.
Revelator L.